Okay. Peace, y'all. Welcome to today's energy awareness course. Girl, Sunshine Moon If you guys already have access to your birth chart, awesome. If not, like, this is a good time to pull it up. If you need help with doing that, the apps that I use is Astro Matrix, and I also use Astro Seek. Those are my two favorite ones to utilize. And I actually wanted to do not the birth chart with you guys today. I actually wanted to do your progressive chart, because the birth chart is who you were when you were born. But every year you spend on Earth is a day in the cosmos. So as, like, you know, the body is movement and you got cells growing and destroying, you're not even in the same body you was in when you were born. So you don't have the same celestial makeup when you were born either. But there still is, you know, all in all, in your electromagnetic field, there still are like aspects and stuff. And I'm going to get into that with you guys if later after this course you want to get into your birth chart. I'll show you like the aspects and things like that, so y'all can get into that with yourself and your personal journaling and stuff. But today I want to talk about progressive chart because I want to be present. Ooh. And I promise when I talk to y'all, I'll talk to myself. So I'm gonna pull up my chart too. That way I can, you know, be interpersonal and transparent with you guys, and it'll make it easier to walk through stuff with y'all.
Yes. So what you mentioned so far was like the ones people normally use are natal charts. But yes, today we're doing a progressive chart.
Absolutely.
All right, bet. Thank you. Did you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It was fly. All right. Okay.
I always give my double pieces.
Okay.
Astro Seek is one. It's like Astro-Seek.
Okay.
And they're going to give me are you going to give me my progressive chart?
They're going to give it to you. So when you type in Astro Seek, it should be like at the top, like different tools or horoscopes. Click on secondary progression.
And then what was the other one you mentioned?
Astro Matrix. That's an app if you guys want to utilize the app. And you could leave the progression for how it is. Just make sure you put your birth chart information at the top. If you don't know what time you're born, that's okay. Like if you know you were born around the morning time, put 12 a.m. If you know you were born around that evening, 12 p.m. So you'll get a roundabout.
Okay, so before you get started, right, because it's something that I think of anytime I like work with people or talk about this stuff. Is this like astrology or astronomy? Because, you know, people who have like religious backgrounds, they be like skeptical. So is this something like a tool they could use, or should they just stick to their Bible and just let it go?
Well, there isn't one without the other.
Okay.
They exist at the same time, same way your body and your soul exist at the same time. And that's essentially what it is. So astronomy is the study of the physical stars, but physical stars have an electromagnetic field that is generated by the different chemicals and elements that come together within the star.
Yeah.
Same thing with your body. Your body has, you know, your own personal biological makeup, your DNA and stuff like that, which all together ultimately creates your own personal EMF people call spirit or soul or whatever, what have you. So it's all one and the same. I don't know what part of history. I think it was during the time of the Crusades, but forgive me if I'm incorrect. But I think like it was a period of time in history where suddenly astrology was just like, oh, we hate it here. But when you learn about the historical, like mathematicians, philosophers, even like I went to school for psychology, all the psychologists that talk about lifespan development and, you know, even the scientific method. All of that is based on astrology and astrological concepts.
Okay, thank you. Because I think people needed that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's in the Bible too. It's just once you get to Deuteronomy, people start losing their minds. But then if you learn about the history of the Bible and the history, that's why holistic everything, not just health, but holistic knowledge is key here too. So when you learn about the history of the Bible and when the Bible was in certain hands under certain empires, you'll understand why Deuteronomy was written the way it was written. Because that was a period of time where it was like, we don't want you guys getting into the unknown anymore. It's nothing, no more beneath the horizon stuff. It's what you see. It's the sun now. Now we're using the solar calendar. Now it's, physical money. It's no more like currency and energy exchange. No more agriculture and flowing with nature. Now it's about consumerism and capitalism. So during that transition of things, that's when it became no more astrology. It's just astronomy now. But even then, it's still telling time. Just how we still use the sun to tell time, which is still astrology.
Really, though,
you know what I'm saying? Like even the names of the months or the days of the week, the hours, the numbers that we use on the hours is numerology. So like even in their space of telling you to look away, they're still using it.
That's a fact.
So it's kind of silly how it works, but it is what it is.
I appreciate that breakdown because you shined the light on it. No pun intended.
Shine a light. And you said it's supposed to be secondary progressions?
Yeah, the secondary progressions. And you put your information at the top and at the bottom. Now, the bottom is up to you. I'm personally going to leave it on today's date because I want to find out why today. But if you guys have a specific date y'all want to go towards or y'all want to sit in or whatever, you could put that. You could change that how you want. I would keep the angles how they are. That's a whole rabbit hole there. So just leave it how it is.
Okay, so today's date. Okay.
And if anybody forgets it in here or anybody watching this, if they need it, I'm gonna put it in the description. So don't lose your mind. I got y'all.
And this is the time right now.
Yeah.
12:40. So this might get real. We talk about present moment.
Oh no, you still doing it? Oh yeah. No, do your thing. Because I know the service in here is like when I'm out there, I'm cool. As soon as I come in here, it's like, yeah, you inside of a store.
But I got it now.
I just made an account.
Yeah, the account. That's too much.
Oh, okay. I never made an account. Do you think?
Yeah, I always make an account too. So
This don't look crazy.
Right, so where are we at?
It should be like a search bar at the top of the screen, and you could type secondary progressions, or there's different ways you can get to it. You can click on horoscopes, astro tools. Both of those will take you there too.
Thank you.
Mhm.
hold on. All right, go ahead.
So every year on Earth is a day in the cosmos. So you think about how much a planet moves in a day. So you figure like whether you use the heliocentric or the geocentric model, the sun degree moves one a day. So like I'm 35. So at this point, my sun done went through at least one zodiac sign because there's only 30 degrees per zodiac sign. You know what I'm saying? Like the moon done did a whole bunch of stuff because every 28 days the moon does like a whole full cycle. Mercury probably changed because it takes them, a little bit of, about a month or so to go 30 degrees. Venus most likely change. Mars, probably not. It depends on what degree you had your Mars in. Like, say if your natal Mars is in like the first 10 degrees, most likely you're probably towards the end of, your Mars degrees at this, at your 30 point or whatever. That's why your Saturn return happens at 30 degrees and 30 years. That's what I meant. At like 29, 30, you start to feel the Saturn return. And that's when you start to feel some of these outer planets shift as well, at least a degree. Because the outer planets, they move a whole lot slower. So you got, usually your Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, unless you were born with it at like a 29 degree or a 28 degree, most likely they're in the same thing. But I am going to talk to you guys about the aspects, like I said, because even though the placements haven't changed, you might notice that the degrees might have a little bit. And so that's the numerology game. And that's an aspect game that we could play too, is to see how your natal chart is still supporting or squaring or whatever, which is good timing because we're still in Aquarius constellation. We're still in the season of letting go. A lot of these Pisces placements that we're experiencing right now on the tropical chart are still in Aquarius. So, and then Pluto's in Aquarius. So this is a great time to do this. We're going to let go of some things.
What I'm hearing from all of this too is like, I understand like when you be in New York or you be talking to old people from New York and they be like, what's the mathematics? And it's like, and how mathematics, are prescribed to a lot of this more, I guess, higher knowledge or learning. And so as you saying this and you just talking about degrees and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna require math. This you can't. I understand why math, and like you said, why they be trying to keep me from that, because it's gonna help a lot. It helps a lot with knowing yourself, precisely for knowing yourself, not for any other reason, but like for knowing yourself.
And all the letters that we use are numbers as well. So when you get into the gematria of the things, like, and then you'll learn, like, we get into this debate of history with, etymology and all that stuff like that. Like, a lot of words were switched up so we could say things a certain way. Our language was taken away from us. But so were the numbers with the letters. And then over time, if you get into the history, even gematria has a history of, we didn't have these letters, so we didn't use those numbers. Even in some type of numerology cultures, they don't even use the number 9 because 9 was such a sacred number that they didn't associate it with anything. It was in the ethers. Once you got to a 9, it was like, okay, it was like being in a 0.
Wow.
So, you have all those different kind of things. But let's get into the root chakra part.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let me pause it and play it just cause technique. All right, we good.
All right, so you guys know what the root chakra is for, right? If you guys want to shout out some answers.
Safety, security,
Money,
survival,
food, sex.
Not sex.
Okay.
Not so much as food, but survival of self.
Survival. It all goes in. Okay.
Resources. Authority of self is a big one here. And so Saturn rules over the root chakra. And Saturn kind of gets like a mislabel a little bit. People get scared of Saturn, but Saturn brings us the challenges that we need to accumulate these things, to have your discipline and order and stuff, to get the resources, to, have those things or whatever. So where your Saturn is at, this is the energy that rules over your root chakra. This is the theme of your root chakra. So my Saturn is in Capricorn.
That makes a lot of sense. Aries.
Right now?
It's been Aries.
It's gonna stay Aries. Crazy. Wait, so where we rated it?
So like right under root chakra, you see the word Saturn. You can write, where your Saturn is at, right next to that word. And then, to rewind back a little bit. So the planet is the what we're talking about. The zodiac is the how, the what is happening. So, and then the house is where in your life this is pertaining to.
So what is the
planet? What we're talking about. How is the zodiac?
Okay.
That's like how the what is manifesting itself.
Okay.
And the house is where in your life this is happening. So what, how, and where?
What was the what again?
The planet. So Saturn, for me, my Saturn is, the what. It's how it's happening is in Capricorn. So it's like double the challenges there that can even go into traumas. I got some stories. And then the where in my life is in my 5th house. So a lot of that stuff goes to my inner child, my creative self, or, father energy as well. And so the internal side of your root chakra is ruled by Aquarius. So if you see any Aquarius placements here now, you could write them down while I'm talking. And then if you guys want to go ahead and start filling in Capricorn, if you don't have any Aquarius, I'll explain the root chakra while you guys are doing that.
You said what? Oh, so write down the Capricorn placements?
You could write where you see the word Aquarius, you could write your Aquarius placements, and where you see Capricorn, write down your Capricorn placements.
So like the planet.
Yeah, you can write the planet. If you want to get super detailed, you can write the house and the degree as well. Because at the end of this, I'm going to get into those things too. So you guys can look into that more, on your own time.
How do you see where the house is?
If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see the houses, and they'll even show you how your houses move too. So you'll see the planets, and then you scroll down, you'll see the houses and the energy that rules over the houses, and then you scroll even more down, and it'll show you the planets inside of the houses. So Aquarius is like your connection with society. It's like that balance between connection and letting things go at the same time. Now, with Aquarius, as far as like the chakras go, this is your connection. This is your mental connection with the people in your space. So these are like the entitlements and the titles that you give to, your relationship. So you kind of learn this a lot in like infantry. You kind of learn this. So you're like, oh, this person is my mom. In my mind, a mom is supposed to be like this and do this. My mom does that. That either makes her a better mom, a worse mom, or just a mom. You know what I'm saying? Or a dad or whatever, right? Or a friend or a sister or next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? This is all going on in our mind because it's air energy, right? Now, as those thoughts are going on in our mind, what's happening in our Capricorn, which is now we're in Earth, now we're in our external side of our root chakra. Now we're creating boundaries. Now we're creating discipline. This is where sometimes like, okay, so if my Aquarius in my mind, maybe like as a baby, your parents let you cry it out all the time, right? They don't realize they taught you this hyper independence. Mm-hmm. So now as a toddler, they're like, oh my God, she does everything by herself. He does everything by himself. And it's like, yeah, because y'all let me cry that shit out when I was a baby. And I might not be able to communicate that for, straightforward. But now this is where my Capricorn is at. Now my survival of self is I do it by myself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or like maybe, other opposite of the game, maybe you were coddled. So in your Aquarius, it's like, if I cry, if I whimper, if I make a friend is going to come, dad is going to come, grandmom, grandpa. Aquarius is where you learn how to play with people. And then when you come out, everybody's supposed to do what I want them to do. You know what I mean? So that is the connection between the Aquarius and the Capricorn.
So everything on the left side is external.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The left side is internal.
Yep.
So the left side is yang, and the right side is yin.
Yep.
Yeah.
You definitely explained that one very well.
For some of you guys' placements, Saturn is exalted in Libra. They like it there. That's like being balanced between your internal and external self and having positive interpersonal relationships and stuff. Saturn is debilitated in Aries. Sorry, Sheen.
Right. Debilitated?
Yeah. So it's kind of like Aries energy is very assertive and aggressive and abrupt. While the root chakra is, you think about how the roots grow in the soil, it takes time. So you have like that tug of war between like instant gratification and long-term planning. And then it's kind of like, I don't know, my mind was like, it's kind of like how the credit report works. Like, it's slow and steady to build it up. But, you sleep for 2 minutes and it's minus 200 points. Yeah. So it's that kind of energy, and that's why it gets debilitated there. We know Saturn owns Capricorn, so that's its home space. If you find throughout this space that you have Saturn near Mercury and Venus, they're friends. So it's cool to have those planets near each other.
You said what were they?
Mercury and Venus, they're friends with Saturn, and Saturn doesn't really like anybody else.
Mercury and Venus.
Yep, because Mercury is intellectual and Venus is the money, is the connections, is the balance between the both. And of course, our root chakra loves that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the word debilitated.
It's just the challenge is learning how to let them move together, and it's a greater challenge than the other placements would be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nicely put. Just a little staticky there.
Mm-hmm. it's just so interesting to me because I feel like my whole house is like a lot of Aries energy. My mom and my grandma. So to be thinking about like childhood energy, like growing up with different socialization patterns, and them being Aries, and then my root being in Aries, my Saturn is like. I don't know. I just find it interesting. I think
No mistakes.
Yeah,
no mistakes.
But there's something that's debilitating sometimes when their energy, like, it's I guess, could be overwhelming, or at times where I feel like I'm like lashing out, or like I'm just like I had to contain that my own sense of fire from that, and I'm starting to think like, oh well, the word is debilitated.
It's fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Fitting.
What am I feeling at the time where?
Do you guys, feel free to? What do you guys know about the sacral chakra?
Creativity.
Yeah.
Expression.
Yeah. Now we can get to sex, TJ, since you wanted to get there so fast.
Yes. I guess when I think of sacral chakra, I just think of my relationship with other people. That's what I initially think of. Yeah, so I guess that makes sense.
Creativity. Yeah, we love it here. Our sensual, sexual self, right? So once you get through the root chakra and you have this basic security and you're authoritative of self, where a lot of people allow other people, places, and things to be authoritative of them, and they feel secure in that. Doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. Now we can feel joy, right? We done went through the week. Now it's time for the weekend, right? We feel it. So when we get Jupiter rules over the sacral chakra, and Jupiter is that space of optimism, generosity, humanitarianism, building that utopia, expansion. So Saturn deals with long-term planning as far as the restrictions and the limitations. Jupiter is kind of like, we can get around those. We can fix it. Like, we got this. These are things we can learn, so you guys have space. You go right where Jupiter is in your chart, and this lets you know the overall energy that you have over your sacral chakra, what energy brings you joy. Also, just a little tidbit, when you meet people who's maybe rising is a big one for me. I'm more on the rising sign than I am on the sun sign, because the rising sign is your aura. Like, how did I end up in your vortex? Whereas the sun sign is the kind of experiences that person provides. But when you meet somebody with a different sun sign, line that up, with this chart when we finish with this. Like, oh, I met you. You do this for me. You're going to provide me with this kind of experience with this chakra or whatever, like that kind of vibe. But my Jupiter's in Leo, so Leo rules over my space of joy. I love it here.
So we got Sagittarius on the external side.
My progressive placements are very similar to my birth placement.
So in your birth placements, when you look at the degrees, are a lot of them within the first 10 degrees?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why. You haven't had like that full 30 degree situation yet. Especially with the outer planets.
Stuff coming. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
you just ain't there yet.
You didn't get your ass beat yet. It's okay.
You got something coming.
I'm about to be Scorpio. This is about to be my 35th birthday. I'm about to enter my Scorpio energy, and I feel it. I feel it because I couldn't wait to get out of that Libra shit. Oh my God.
Can't really get told that something coming.
Right. I do that though.
But we love it because now you're pre-gaming. Right. You're going to be ready. I wasn't ready.
Ready to be prepared.
Yeah.
This is I knew there's a reason why I was supposed to be. It's like,
I promise, people love hitting you up when the event starts. It's like, bro, I'm not
you know where I'm about to be at.
That's how I feel when I'm on stage. Now my phone is ringing. That's why I don't like having my phone hooked up to the aux cord. Because why are you calling me?
I'm getting an energy reading right now. I'm getting my energy awareness reading.
They feel you.
Yeah. I think it's the amount of presence that we have. Because I promise you, as soon as I travel, like as soon as I leave Philly, everybody's hitting my phone. And they're talking about coming to this event, coming to this. I'm like, you never invited me nowhere until I left here. It's like, I just think I'm very present. When you're very present in your reality, it's like everything else is like magnified. Like, not to say that the opportunity will still be there, but it's like, presence is everything.
Agree, because now spaces I'm supposed to be.
The sign that's on the left and the right.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead and put in your Pisces and Sagittarius placements while I talk about Pisces and Sag. So you done went through your thoughts of who's who and what's what. You created your discipline and your boundaries based upon those different experiences and challenges. And so then we go into Pisces. Now you have your internal law. So like when you watch the cartoons, like old cartoons, you would have like an angel on one side of your shoulder and the little devil on the other side. Mm-hmm. That's Pisces and Sagittarius. And you're going to be the Jupiter in the middle, taking it. And the goal is to be balanced between the two, right? So, you know, people with heavy Pisces energy, I've noticed, because I've done a lot of charts, going into, well, both, whether Pisces or Sagittarius. If you have a lot of placements there, you can go heavy into like addictions and obsessions and overindulgences and stuff. Like that's a big challenge for people heavy in those spaces. People with heavy Pisces placements too can like come into a space of like, they start to get like psychological diagnosis. Now we're on the spectrum with like autism and Asperger's and stuff because they're like super deep into the waters. Like they're not associated with reality. So Pisces deals with that. Pisces deals with like, what's your internal law and where's that at? And the more Pisces placements you're at, you know, the more detached. And Sagittarius, of course, is fire. So you start to act out those levels of detachment. You know, how unhinged are you? And then, you know, of always, the goal is always to be balanced. You know what I'm saying? We do want to feel joy because some people, they have a lot going on in their root chakra that'll put them in spaces where it's like, oh, I don't deserve happiness at all. You know what I'm saying? You have people on the other side of the spectrum, or they'll be like, you know, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to engage in my sexual self. I don't want to be creative. I don't want to do these things because I'm so busy worried about, we talk about survival mode and how survival mode cuts off everything else. This is what it looks like. You're stuck in that root chakra. So you're not touching nothing up there.
No, you're helping paint a picture here as well. Like I'm already kind of seeing a picture of being aware of your energy coming together from these first two dramas.
Cool.
I like this.
So as far as Jupiter goes, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. They love it there. It's emotional energy, connecting your introspection to your sacral chakra. People are those are the super creatives that like disappear for months at a time. And then they done made like 100 paintings and stuff like that. You know, people that would be like pissing out song lyrics. That's an awesome Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter can be debilitated in Capricorn for the same reason. Like I said, you could be stuck in the limiting beliefs, you know, restrictive beliefs. And Jupiter wants to grow, color outside the lines, and Saturn wants to thicken the lines. Capricorn wants to thicken the lines. We know Jupiter owns Sagittarius. Jupiter is friends with the sun, the moon, and of course itself. But the sun and the moon, because they deal with your third eye and your introspection, and we like to have our third eye and our sacral chakra connected. Jupiter doesn't really like Mercury. Because Mercury wants to be logical. Mercury gives off the same energy as Saturn, where Saturn is limited. Mercury is too logical for Jupiter. It's like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be here with you.
So what does it mean about Mercury?
If your Mercury is in Pisces, so Mercury is actually debilitated in Pisces. Because Pisces,
every time that actually doesn't
like it there, because you got to think Mercury is logical and intellectual, and this also will help you in your connect. Once we fill this whole thing out, I'm going to piece the puzzles with how you interact with other people, how you're going to interact with the transit chart, have a whole new outline on that transit chart, because we know we have a lot of stuff in Pisces right now. But yeah, Mercury doesn't like there because Mercury wants to be illogical. And A, B, C, D, E, F, where Pisces is like, no, because Y, B, M, H. And then,
the whole acronym. Right?
Yeah, like, that's what I want to do. So that's that there. And so once we find a balance in our sacral chakra, you know, we know how to give ourselves joy without overindulging and being obsessive or separating ourselves too far away from society. Now we come into our space of power, which is our solar plexus chakra. So what do you guys know about the solar plexus chakra?
Intuition.
Yeah.
Community.
Can be.
I didn't know. I'm like, maybe.
You're giving very Gemini answers, and I love it here.
Yeah, I definitely associate solar plexus with willpower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, power is definitely a big one.
Okay.
So, yeah, your solar plexus chakra is the gut that controls the mind.
Say that one more time.
It's the gut, and the gut controls the mind.
Okay.
Everything starts with the thoughts. So this is why, people be going hell bent on, we gotta fast and we gotta stop eating these things. We gotta stop doing those things, because if I was an evil villain, I would fill your stomach up with certain things, and I will applicate that to your, electromagnetic field, because the gut goes to the mind. And now you're over here making terrible decisions, watching TV, frequencies coming to you, and all that stuff, that connection. Mars deals with motivation, right? And aggression, assertion. Mars is the motivator. And you have to have a thought to be motivated by, right? You have to have some type of something going on in your mind to make you want to be assertive or aggression or even ambition. It's just something that gets you going, right? What's provocative? That's what Mars is asking you. What provokes you, into anger, into, inspiration or whatever. So we have the root, we have our survival of self. Now that we have this and it's down locked, now we're giving ourselves joy. Now we feel powerful, right? Now we can go out into the world, Some people have an overactive solar plexus chakra where they come into people's space and they're like, hey, if you're not doing what I'm doing, you're not spiritual enough. Get like me, get it together. Okay. If you're not, you have some people with underactive solar plexus chakras where they're letting everybody boss them around and pull them around. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to be balanced to where like you can live in your reality, I can live in mine, and we can coexist type situation. You have your law and order. I understand it. Well, I don't understand it. I understand it, but I still stand under my own shit. Let's not get twisted. But that's the battle there, especially here, in this world. You got the government trying to roll over your root chakra, especially if you had like public school education. That's a big one in our root chakra, right? And it controls a lot of ways how we behave and how we think things are and our mindset, even on the days of the week. Like we still looking at the weekend like the weekend. I don't know about y'all, but I don't be knowing what day it is. When I let go a lot of that stuff, and then it's crazy because I homeschool my kids, and sometimes it would frustrate me when they wouldn't know what month it is or what day it is, and it's like, this is how you raise them, though. They don't know this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
It's today.
Yeah, right. It's today. It's right now, right? So, you could, of course, you guys can fill in the solar plexus chakra. I'm chatting about it. Mars is exalted in Capricorn energy because Capricorn brings a sense of regulation to the solar plexus chakra. Also, Mars brings a sense of motivation and ambition to that survival of self. Like when you have, what comes to my mind as an example is when you have an infant, right? Infant is our root chakra, self in human form, right? And say like their needs aren't being met, that Capricorn energy, sometimes they'll just die. You know what I'm saying? Their solar plexus will just, I don't have a will to live. And Mars rules over the willpower. So that's that connection there.
Like you mentioned earlier about like coexisting. So does that mean like, because it's related to power, is that part of the balance you're talking about where some people don't know how to like coexist if there's no cooperation, like what you were saying, like if you ain't doing what I'm doing, and then other people, they're always, and you mentioned it also here in the sacral chakra, like some people just need somebody to tell them what to do. So is that where these things connect, is like your sense of what he was saying, maybe willpower to, and they could have died a long time ago. That's why it's easy for people to come into your life and tell you what's going to happen in it. And then there's other people, like you said, they might connect with like, if I can't be the main thing in the room, I don't want to be in the room.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why whenever people heal, the first thing they say is you got to do some root work.
Okay.
You got to go back to your inner child. You got to always go back to the root chakra and redo that Aquarius, and so that your Capricorn be a little bit different, and then go back up to whatever chakra. That's why I keep bringing it back then, so y'all can see when y'all do need to do some work, or even when y'all having energy exchanges with somebody. Now you can put that together, like, oh, I see why you act like that. Like, okay, now I see, your root chakra. Now I see your,
What's motivating you?
yeah.
Right.
Why are you like this?
Got you. Got you.
Mars is debilitated in Cancer because Cancer wants to be dreamy and emotional and go inward and be home and all this stuff. And Mars is like, nah, I want to be assertive. I want to be motivated. I want to go outward. I want to be outside. Right now in the transit chart, we actually have Mars in Cancer right now. So it's, to have these two energies. And when I say debilitated, it's because it's really easy for them to fight. That's the easiest two energies to fight with each other. But the goal there is to find a balance, like be more introspective about what motivates you, be more motivating to be more nurturing rather than, let's go do it. Like, there's ways to go about that, but it's just like the way that, the average individual has been trained up in their mindset, it's hard. It's difficult there. Aries is the gut. That's the fire in the gut. When y'all get hungry, when y'all get angry, the fight or flight mode, the ambition motivative, you guys always feel it in your gut, right? So that's the fire there. And once you feel that fire in your gut motivating you, Scorpio does the building and destroying, or the transformation. Scorpio is that show of power of how aligned you are with your gut. So we say Scorpio is the manipulator because everything out here is water, right? You're water, I'm water, the air is water, everything is water. So like if my gut is like, oh, I'm hungry or whatever, I gotta go through a whole manipulation situation to put food into my fire, into my gut. If your gut is saying I don't want to be here or whatever, or that person needs to get it out of my face, then Scorpio is going to do the things that Scorpio needs to do or whatever, right? They have like that Buddhist saying, holding a grudge. So this is what it looks like when you have an imbalanced solar plexus chakra, because we know Scorpio likes to hold the grudges, right? It's like holding fire, expecting another person to burn. So you're holding that in your gut. That Aries is big when you're around this energy, this person, this situation or whatever. And so like that Scorpio is stagnant. That's what a stagnant solar plexus is like. We want to keep it flowing. So that's the connection between that fire and water situation.
When I tell you, it sometimes takes me 2 hours to go walk and get the massage fries, because I just be sitting there in the crib like, should I do it? I know I need something. I'm supposed to be fasting. So like I felt that one where it's like your gut will destroy you. Start playing tricks on your own self. Like, I don't even deserve to eat. I don't need this. I don't want this. It's like, this is really start tweaking on me. Like, I really be going through it when it comes to food. Yeah, I be going through it. But that's why I looked at you, because I knew we sat at the crib one day like, so are we going to go to the breakfast spot? Are we going to get fries? Are we going to do that? And it's like, we got to do something. We got to do something.
And when I start thinking too smart about food.
Right, you start thinking too
fast. I'd be ignorant. I'm like, why I just be ignorant to eat this without thinking like.
And then you do it, and then your gut fights you. No, then it fights you because you did it.
Yeah.
Then it fights you because you did it.
And you see like the behaviors of people when they can't get their chicken nuggets and they pulling somebody out the drive-through and stuff. That's the behavior of the gut. They call those like the parasites in the gut telling you, you want to engage in this, don't you want to do that? And if you pay attention to a lot of the fast food restaurants, they all play on that color yellow, whether it's different shades of yellow.
Yellow and red.
Yep, red for your root chakra. Yep. You need this to survive. This is the sustenance, right? Ain't this a part of, your resources self? Yeah. Put it right in your gut.
Now, will we still write the planets when it comes to like the Scorpio is the external and the Aries is the internal? So like, will we still write the planet who's in that house? Like, cause I got like Saturn and the Aries in the root, but then I also have Scorpio and Mars. So did I write that down again?
Yeah, write it again, because when you look at the whole thing, you'll be able to see your open spaces and all that stuff
Okay.
like that. It'll help you see the whole picture.
Yeah, because I definitely want to stay. But this one, I look like it's time for the other two. It's okay. Okay.
So what do you guys know about the heart chakra?
Before you go forward,
Okay, pause it.
and one.
Okay, so what do you guys know about the heart chakra?